is the Louie T Network.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report Live. Time is the enemy of perfection. So I apologize for the late start. I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had previously, but as I always say, because I'm always late, still great, even late. Thank you for joining me on the program. I had a lot of things that I was trying to get done, and sometimes when you're doing too much, you kind of get lost in what's most important. And I was trying to put my hands in so many different, and I'm not good at this. I don't multitask well, and technically speaking, the human body isn't built to multitask. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Some people are good at multitasking. I am not one of them. If I set my sights on a goal in particular, I need to finish that one thing, not try to work on 6 different things, or you end up with what happened to me tonight. In any event, I've had so many people reach out to me as viewers that just love what I do, and I love providing this content for you guys. And I have had so many people say, look, man, I want to donate because I want to take this to the next level. As you all know, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, I've been talking about leveling up for quite some time now, and I'm almost at that point where I can start to do some really cool things and share it with you guys. But everything takes finances, and everything takes capital, and everything takes resources. And that's where I'm kind of lacking in some of the things that I'm trying to do. And I've had people reach out and say, look, man, we want to donate. Give us an outlet to donate. And I said, okay, you've spoken loud enough. I will work on that. And I've finally figured out the best method for me. And that method is going to be PayPal. So if you want to donate to the Louie T Network, anything is welcome. I really would appreciate it. That's how you do it. The link is going to be on every single video from here on out that I do. It's in the description of this video. Just click on the link. It'll take you straight to where you can donate to the Louie T Network. Like I said, I really appreciate each and every single one of my viewers and all of your viewership, and anything helps. And if you can't donate, I don't mind that at all. Just continue to watch. If you can donate, I would greatly appreciate it. And I thank each and every single one of you in advance if you're able to donate anything to this channel. That being said, let's get back to the proceedings this evening. We are on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we got our first win of the season. We're in the left-hand column. Damn, it feels good to be a winner. And so 0-2, boy, that was going to be a bitter pill to swallow, because watching that game, I said, we're better than the Rams. We are supposed to win this game. All right. And when we were up 13-0, I said, put these boys away. We give up the big 69-yard pass to Gerald Everett, leads to a touchdown. I said, okay, they're back in the game. We go up 20-10. I say, put these boys away. The defense gets a 3 and out. We use all of our timeouts. We get the football back at the 45-yard line. With a minute left, we go 3 and out. I said, okay, we get the ball at the half. Don't even trip. Put these boys away. Chris Thompson drops the football on what looks like it would have been a touchdown. Even if it wasn't a touchdown, it's a huge game into deep Rams territory. We're at least getting a field goal out of that, if not a touchdown. But we don't. Next thing you know, they run off 10 straight. It's tied at 20, and I am on pins and needles in my living room watching this game, hoping that we don't blow this game to the Rams. But we found a way to get it done. The boys came through. The fellas got it done in winning time. And that's what it's all about here in the National Football League. And we were victorious 27-20. And we're going to talk about all of that. And then we're going to get to a big, huge, massive Sunday night football. Sunday night football showdown with the Oakland Raiders in week number 3. Lots to get to. So I don't want to hold you up. As it is, we've already started this program a little later than what most of you are accustomed to. So let's get to the proceedings this evening. And we're going to start the show off with 7 on 7. If you're new to this program and you want your voice to be heard, go ahead and use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read. I will go back and forth between comments and my analysis as we're doing these so that the comments are pertinent as I am talking about these. So if you are out there in the discussion right now and you want your voice to be heard, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read. 7 on 7 is a concept where I take the 7 biggest takeaways from the offense and the 7 biggest takeaways from the defense in this past week's game versus the Rams and discuss them with you. We'll start on the offensive side of the football, and I like to count down and backwards. 7 being the least most important. It's still important, obviously, because it's one of my 7 takeaways, but it's the least important of the 7. 1 being the most significant takeaway from the game. We start at number 7 on the offensive side of the football. Josh Doctson still doesn't have an official NFL stat, aka Josh Doctson still doesn't. Well, I take that back. I lied. He had a catch last year versus the Dallas Cowboys. Josh Doctson doesn't have an official NFL stat for the 2017 NFL season. Josh Doctson was targeted one time in this game, one time only, and it was that same stinking ass fade that we saw be executed poorly and miserably last season. Same result this year. At some point, they're going to get it right. You got to feel like at some point they're going to connect on that damn fade, which they've been working on all offseason. Looks the same damn way to me. I don't give a damn about that fade. What I'm talking about is, why can't we find a way to get this man to football? He was on the field for about 40% of the snaps. He was on the field. I saw 18 out there quite a bit. And remember, we were dealing with some injuries. Jordan Reed was injured. Jamison Crowder was dealing with an injury. So out of necessity, Josh Doctson had to be on the football field. And I just don't understand why we can't throw him a hitch, a screen, a slant, something. Just get this man involved so the fans can just stop calling for Josh Doctson to be involved. Look, I'm not one to push the issue and say, hey, get 18 to football or else. If I just want to win. I don't really give a damn how we do it. I just want to win. And if 18 doesn't touch the football and we still win, to hell with him. All right. But I know, and I'm smart enough to know, you're smart enough to know as Redskins fans, if we want to succeed this season, we need 18 to be a fixture, a part of this offense moving forward because of what we've lost in the offseason at the receiver position. You can't expect Ryan Grant to fill those shoes by himself. You can't expect Jamison Crowder or Terrell Pryor to fill those shoes by themselves. Doctson has to step up for this offense to mature the way that we expect it to throughout the course of this season. He needs to be more involved. He's got to stay healthy. And Jay Gruden made mention of that during the week. He tweaked the hamstring again and said it was tight. And Jay Gruden then countered that by saying, well, he may have limited snaps. So it's hard to game plan for a guy that isn't practicing as much as you would like. And so I understand why they're not making a concerted effort. But come on, guys. You can get 18 the ball at least once. And I understand that the fade is the easiest thing to call in the Reds. Stop calling that damn fade and having that be the only way to get him to football. There are other ways to get Josh Doctson to football. They have to find a way to get that young man involved. He needs confidence. He's lacking in that department right now. getting him the football will give him that confidence. It will give us as fans confidence that this guy can get it done. And we yet again leave another game, and yet again Josh Doctson, no catches in the game. This is getting old fast. Number 6, Samaje Perine's debut. Remember last week in week 1 versus the Eagles, Samaje Perine, 0 touches. As a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further, 0 snaps in week number 1 for Samaje Perine. He didn't even see the field. So with that being said, Rob Kelly goes down, and I think the plan all along was to get Samaje Perine touches, because before Rob Kelly went down with the injury, Samaje Perine had already gotten into the game. So I think they had made an effort, a concerted effort, to get him touches in this game, get him snaps. And so he was going to play in this game. Now, they had no idea that he was going to end up having 21 carries on the day. That was not a part of the game plan. They didn't expect Rob Kelly to go down. They didn't anticipate that happening, and they didn't anticipate the amount of success that they would have on the ground either. I don't care what Jay Gruden says. I don't care what the coaching staff says. They may have thought they could have run the football on the Rams. They didn't think they were going to run it to the tune of 229 yards rushing. Okay? They didn't think that they were going to eat up 36 minutes of the game clock being able to rush and possess the football. So they knew they could run it. They thought they could run it. I don't think they knew they were going to run it that many times. But in any event, it's a mixed bag for Samaje Perine in his debut. 21 carries, right around 69 yards, we'll call it. I thought he had some really good runs, some strong runs on that final scoring possession that the Redskins took the lead on. What I noticed in the game is that and I should have known this from the jump, but what I noticed in the game is that he's much more comfortable running out of shotgun. Why, you ask? Well, that's what he ran out of at Oklahoma. They ran exclusively out of shotgun and pistol. So it's easier for him to run the track. It's easier for him to make cuts and see the field out of shotgun versus him having to worry about what track to take, what cutbacks to make, patience. All right, it's a lot less patience out of shotgun because you're already at a point where you can see it, you can hit it. Whereas when you get these handoffs and it's a counter, or you get this zone stretch where you've got to run to a certain landmark in a certain point, you got to hit the tight outside of the tight end's ass or inside the tackles, inside hip. It's a lot to think about, a lot for him to kind of digest. And you could see he was impatient on some runs, running up the back of Sean Laval and Brandon Sheriff on certain plays because he was impatient. On that final drive, a lot of his runs came out of shotgun, and in his best runs of the day, to me, came out of shotgun, and that's when he was at his best. And I think if they take a look at the film, look, he's got to get better out of a single back set, out of a two back set, strong eye, weak eye, whatever the case may be. He's got to get better out of that. But right now, as it stands, I think he's better out of shotgun. It was a solid performance by Perine. He can be better. He will be better. But I'm encouraged by what I saw from Samaje Perine in his debut in a Washington Redskins uniform in Week 2 versus the Los Angeles Rams. Number 5, 7 of the 7 takeaways from the Redskins offense in Week 2 versus the Los Angeles Rams on the road. Number 5, the offensive line bounces back. Now, they did surrender 2 sacks in this game, both of them coming early in the game, one in the first quarter, the second in the second quarter. After that, they settled in, however. They were outstanding, obviously, in the run game, really catapulting the Redskins to this victory on the ground primarily. But when Kirk needed to throw the football in the second half of this game, when Kirk looked to throw the football after the second sack of the game, for the most part, the Redskins did a great job of protecting him and giving him some lanes and avenues to throw the football. And I thought the offensive line struggled in Week 1 mightily versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They struggled early on. We tried to run a play-action fake, and I will tell you right now, I believe there were open receivers on that play-action fake. We had run it so effectively early, and we looked to take advantage of the success that we had gained early on the ground by taking a shot with play action. And I can tell you right now, Sean Laval lost on that play action fake. He got beat by Aaron Donald. What's new? And the Rams got in and sacked Kirk Cousins there. Then there was a blitz by the Rams where Alec Ogletree got in basically untouched. And he was able to get to the quarterback. And that was a situation where guys just simply didn't communicate. That should have been picked up. They ran a little bit of a situation where the defensive tackle takes up two blockers, essentially. Spencer Long was supposed to pick up the blitzer. He allowed the defensive tackle to eat him up. The guard was then not in a position to pick up the blitz and linebacker. He came scot-free up the middle, up the A-gap. It's a simple situation where they got to slide and pinch inside. Spencer Long should have been picking up the blitzer. Brandon Sheriff should have been picking up the defensive tackle, and that blitz wouldn't have hit home. But in any event, after that, they were outstanding in pass pro. And the running game, like I said, I can't speak about that enough. We'll get to the running game somewhere down the line in this breakdown. But obviously, the offensive line, to me, had a huge bounce-back game. And we want to see more of this and less of what we saw last week from this offensive line. And hopefully we can clean up the mistakes in pass pro and keep Kirk clean like we did for the majority of last season when we were one of the best pass-blocking offensive lines in all of the National Football League. Number 4, one of the 7 biggest takeaways from the Redskins offense in week 2 versus the Rams, missed opportunities. I said this in the R3. This game had no business being close. We made this game much closer, much tougher than it needed to be. We should have won this game going away 30-13, 37-20. It should have been somewhere along those lines, okay? This game had no business being 20-20 late in the fourth quarter with the Redskins having to score with about 2 minutes left in this football game. No business at all. Kirk missed some opportunities. The one that comes to mind is the pass where he scrambles out of the pocket. Great job to elude the rushers and get out of the pocket, which he's been doing a phenomenal job of this year, extending plays. And Chris Thompson is down the sidelines by his lonesome, wide ass open. I don't know if there was a defender behind him at all, but at least 20 yards of real estate is in front of Chris Thompson for sure. If he can just, he doesn't even have to, and he put way too much sauce on this one. Too much hot sauce to go. If he just lobs that thing up there, all right, Chris Thompson is going to gain at least 20, possibly upwards of 30 or 40 yards on that play as the defense was sucked into Kirk Cousins. Got to make that play. Missed opportunity there. Got to have it. Always need it. The fade in the end zone to Josh Doxson. Got to make a better throw right there if you're Kirk Cousins. Can't do that. You can't make that throw like that. Missed opportunity there. So I like Kirk. There was a mixed game for Kirk Cousins. We'll talk about him a little bit more as we continue on this program. But I thought there were some missed opportunities there. CT. He could have easily had, this should have been his finest performance as a Redskin, and he should have had over 300 yards of total offense in this football game when it was all said and done, because he already had eclipsed 100 based off of his rushing and receiving in this game. Okay, he should have had over 300 yards of total offense because he should have caught that pass to start the second half on that first possession. That should have been a 60-yard touchdown or a 45-yard gain down to the Rams' 15-yard line. He should have had that catch where if Kirk makes a better decision or a better throw, I should say, to him out in the flats, that's a win for him there. He should have had a huge day, a monster day. But in any event, CT's got to catch that pass. All right. He's got to catch that pass. He broke Alec Ogletree off, made him fall, crossed him up, left him on the ground. Got to have it. Always need it. Got to make that play to put this game away. That would have put us up 27-10. Worst case scenario, he doesn't score and we don't score in the red zone and we come away with a field goal and it's 23-10. Still a different ball game nonetheless. The halftime, the drive before the half, the defense does an incredible job of forcing the Rams to go 3 and out. We use our timeout smartly. They punt us the football. We get great field position at the 45-yard line, our own 45. We got plenty of time to move into field goal range for D-Hop. and we go 3 and out. Can't happen. Gotta have some points there. I need it. Missed opportunity. And D-Hop missing a 51-yard field goal. Is that a close one? No. But I know that's well within your range. I need you to find a way to knock that one home. I love D-Hop. You know how I feel about D-Hop. But I talk about field goal kickers all the time, and I always say this. If you're not making kicks, I can't defend you. Let me defend you. Let me keep them off your back. I can do that. But you got to give me the ammo to do so, man. Make your kicks, bruh. You were 3 for 3 last week. You were 1 of 2 this week. Make your kicks, bruh. Matter of fact, you were 2 of 3 this week. Excuse me. You're 5 or 6 on the season right now. Make your kicks, bruh. Make your kicks. Let me help you, man. Make your kicks. Matter of fact, you only had 1 field goal last week. I'm giving you way more credit than you deserve right now. You're 3 or 4 on the season. Make your kicks, bruh. Missed opportunities. We should have scored 30-something points in this game and should have won going away. But we didn't. Number 3, Redskins game-winning drive. Absolutely gorgeous. It was a thing of beauty. Boy, you couldn't have drawn it up much better than that. Redskins got the football back with about 6 minutes left on the clock. And we proceeded to drive the football down the field, eating up about 4.5 minutes of that fourth quarter clock, leaving the Rams with just under 2 minutes to go. We scored on the first play on the other side of the 2-minute warning. And it was a nice mixture of run. We had some adverse situations, a 2nd and 18 after we had a holding penalty on Trent Williams. And Samaje Perine bust off a 12-yard run out of shotgun, beautifully executed, puts us in a 3rd and 6 situation, and then Terrell Pryor with a big catch and run to set us up in a field goal range, and ultimately for that touchdown that we got to Ryan Grant. Kirk Cousins was 3 of 3 on that drive, including a huge 3rd down conversion to JC Ice. Yeah, nothing's better than Ice. JC Ice. And he was huge in this game. He had some huge 3rd down conversions in this game. None bigger than that 3rd down on that last possession of the game. But we had a 3rd and 21 after Kirk was sacked, and we throw a slip screen to JC Ice, and he picks up about 25. He's awesome on those screens. I want to see those more often. We don't have to wait until 3rd and long to pull those out. Teams are going to start using that as a tendency, and they're going to defend that better. If we can use that on 1st down. There's nothing wrong with throwing him that same screen on 1st and 10. Teams are looking for it on 3rd and long. They should be, because we ran against the Eagles in a 3rd and 14 situation and picked up 16. We threw it on 3rd and 21 and picked up 25 versus the Rams. Teams should be looking for that. If I'm a team going against the Redskins and we're in a 3rd and impossible situation, I'm looking for the slip screen to Jamison Crowder. So we've got a tendency to break that and do it on the 1st down. But love when we get the football in his hands. He turns it to a punt returner and he becomes dangerous. He also had a conversion on like a 3rd and 9 where he got 11. I mean, he was outstanding in this game, especially on 3rd downs, which is his money down. And Kirk is comfortable getting him the rock. And it was outstanding on his part to make big plays for us, especially on that final drive. And then, of course, the throw to Grant was outstanding. I'm watching the play develop, and I see the speed out to Crowder for the 1st down, and I'm yelling at Kirk. He's open. Throw the speed cut. Throw the speed cut. Kirk says, nah, man, that's the Kirk from last year. The Kirk from last year settles for the 1st down. The Kirk this year, the $30 million Kirk Cousins, which is what he's probably going to get next year, that guy's looking for the jugular. I don't want to just settle for choking these dudes. I'm looking to cut them and watch them bleed out. I'm going for the jugular, man. And he went to Ryan Grant on a beautifully thrown football, corner of the end zone. Grant does a great job of getting both feet in bounds, securing the catch. We got to start giving Ryan Grant some more love, man. Ryan Grant he's a bigger part of this team than we wanted to acknowledge. And he's not going anywhere. And with Doxson struggling, we may need Ryan Grant. So y'all better open up your arms and give this man a big Redskin fan hug, because we're going to need Ryan Grant, especially if Doxson continues to struggle. That was a beautiful drive, masterful, and at a time in our season where we had to absolutely have it, the boys delivered on the offensive side of the football. Number 2 on the Redskins' biggest seven offensive takeaways from the game, Chris Thompson's importance to this offense. Chris Thompson was outstanding. CT Scan was outstanding in this game. We all know about the 61-yard draw handoff, beautifully done by the blockers up front. Laval actually took 2 out. So did Sheriff. Watching guys get to the second level was a thing of beauty there. Jordan Reed, actually blocked the guy without holding, man. How about that? And his block was the one that sprung CT, and then he made a beautiful, vicious, flavor-delicious jump cut to make that last defender miss. Off to the races we go. And got to the end zone, touchdown. The first touchdown of the game was a toss that Aaron Donald never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Almost got his hands on, so I don't trust his ass. He's got 2 first names, and those guys scare me. And he almost got his hands on that toss out of shotgun to Chris Thompson. Beautifully executed play, though. He gets to the edge, able to turn the corner. And Trent Williams with a magnificent block there, a reach block that he's not supposed to be able to get to on that outside linebacker. But he was able to get to Robert Quinn, seal the edge, allow Chris Thompson to get outside, and then he was able to dive, extend, and get in the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Should have had another touchdown had he caught that pass. I firmly believe if he catches that option route, that arrow route over the middle field after breaking off Alec Ogletree in the third quarter on that first possession, I think he's going for 6 yet again. In any event, he was outstanding in this game. And what we fail to realize is just how big of a part of the offense he is, not just as a pass catcher, not just as a running back, but as a pass protector. That may be his most important role on this football team, because of our backs, he's the one guy that we trust in the game on third down situations when the other team is blitzing. They're bringing 6, they're bringing 7, they're bringing the house. Chris Thompson knows where to go. He's willing to put his body on the line. And I've watched this man time after time after time put his body on the line and stonewall a blitzer to give Kirk the extra second he needs to deliver the football. This guy's tremendous, and I'm glad we extended him. He deserves the money, and he is one of the most integral parts of this Redskins offense. Just know this. The Redskins have scored 4 total touchdowns this season. Chris Thompson is responsible for 3. So just know how important this man is to this Redskins offense. CT is the man. And finally, the number 1 takeaway from the Redskins offense in the Week 2 win versus the Rams, the Redskins run game resurgence. We've been waiting for this for so long. And I'm not going to lie to you, I never thought this day was going to come. I didn't. I haven't seen any empirical evidence that would lead me to believe that we were capable of the type of performance that we turned in on Sunday on the ground. Offensive line, tight ends, running backs, none of these guys have been in sync with one another. There was no reason for any of us as fans to believe we were capable of putting up the type of numbers that we put up in this football game. The Redskins had 3 rushers over 65 yards for the first time since 1938 in this ball game. Okay? Fat Rob was well on his way to over 100 yards in the first half. Not the entire game. In the first half, he missed a cut on the outside. That should have been under the missed opportunities label, because if he goes outside on one of those runs, the one where he cut it inside, where he had a convoy of blockers, he goes to the outside, and as the run is happening, I'm saying, go outside, go outside, go outside. He cuts inside, and that's just a young man just excited to rumble, young man rumble. But you need to go outside there. That's the lack of vision there by Robert Kelly. I need him to go outside of that Morgan Moses block, and that man probably walks into the end zone. No joke. Real talk. He goes outside of that block. We're talking about 7, folks. We're talking about a 67-yard touchdown run for Robert Kelly. But in any event, he was outstanding before the injury. 12 carries, 78 yards. Chris Thompson had over 60 yards rushing. Obviously, with the 61-yarder, I mean, that put him well over that 60 mark for the day by itself. Remember, he also had the touchdown run from about 12 yards out where he was able to dive and extend the football over the goal line and into the end zone. So he was over 70 yards in this game, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, Samaje Perine with 69 yards on 21 carries. So this Redskins rushing attack was outstanding. You couldn't have seen this happening. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, don't fool yourself into thinking this is what we are moving forward and that this is going to happen every week. We took advantage of a Rams team that was over-aggressive. They didn't do their job in the run game, and our guys did. But make no mistake about it, we will not have the same success against the Raiders upcoming in this game. I think we can have some success, but it won't be 229 yards. We won't be getting 5 and 6 yards a pop on the ground. We may not do that again the entire season. It was just fun to see the run game come full circle because we've heard them talking about the commitment to the run game. Jay Gruden wants to run the football more. And a lot of people always talk about we need to run the ball more. I'm not one to subscribe to running the football when you're getting 2 yards a pop. That's not a smart thing to do. And I thought Jay Gruden said it best after the game when he said, it's easy to commit to the run when the run is working. It's easy to call the next run play when you just got 5 on first down. Easy to call a run on 2nd and 5 after you got 5 on 1st and 10. Easy to call a running play on 3rd and 1 when you got 6 on first down and 3 on 2nd down. Easy to call a run on 3rd and 3 and keep it moving. We had a drive, our first scoring drive of the day, 6 plays, all runs, down the field into the end zone. Easy to keep calling run plays when you're getting chunks. Easy to keep calling them. It's hard, and I don't blame him for not calling them when you're getting 1 or none or -1 or 2 on first down. And now it's 2nd and 9. Now it's 2nd and 11. You want him to call another run play? You want it to be 3rd and 9? Nah, I don't want that. I don't know about you. I can't speak for you. I don't want that. But to see the run game be as dominant as it was in week number 2, man, was that a breath of fresh air. And I'm hoping that the Redskins can duplicate what we did in this game. And I think the best takeaway from this game in the run game was the diversity of this run game. We saw counter tray. We saw stretch, zone run blocking. We saw shotgun handoffs. We saw the Redskins spread out the Rams and then hand it off. We saw read option. We saw tosses. We saw sweeps. We saw pitches. We saw everything you could imagine out of the run game. This was a complex run game. It was a dynamic run game. It was a big, long, far cry from the duo that we've been seeing and these pound draws that we've been seeing and these dive plays, these quick hitters that we've been accustomed to that have been shoved down our throats as fans under Sean McVay. It's refreshing to see some diversity in the run game. Guys moving, traps, slams, dives, all kinds of different runs by this Redskins football team. Man, it was fun to watch. In any event, let's get to some of your comments before we get to the defensive 7-on-7. Let's see what you guys have to say thus far with what we've discussed offensively. Pick off a few comments and then we'll get to the defensive side of things. Yeah, I got Zimba Sexy one says, you got lost in the sauce, LOL. I did, man. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes, you struggle and you try to get things situated and it happens, Zimba Sexy One says you should have used Patreon like every other YouTuber. I don't want to use Patreon because I don't want to give them any of my money. It's really simple. I use PayPal because I don't really know how Patreon works. I don't know if that's a reoccurring payment, which if it is, that's dope, But at the end of the day, I don't want to force anybody to give me anything, and I want people to give when they can give. I don't know if Patreon is an automatic withdrawal every month or however often you do it. I don't actually know exactly the dynamics of Patreon. I've checked it out, but my biggest problem with Patreon is that, and this is how business works, they want a percentage. They say, hey, we're offering you a service. I just need my cut off the top. You can have the rest. I just want my cut off the top. Well, I don't want you to have a cut off the top. Okay? If someone's donating $20 to me, I don't want $17. I want $20. And so that's basically how I look at that. But we'll see what happens. HTTR 804 says, run game was strong. Chris Thompson again shows off. You basically summed it up. The run game was outstanding. Chris Thompson shows why he's such an integral part of this football team. And he needs to touch it more, and we'll see what happens. Rams All Day 95 says, I like how you guys beat us. Yeah, it was a great game, man. You guys, I thought we were going to put you away so many times in the game, and we weren't able to do so. And so you guys just hung tough. And, I'm rooting for you guys moving forward because I love Sean McVay, and I think he's going to help change the culture in Los Angeles with that Rams football team. And so best of luck to you guys the remainder of the season. We just needed that one. You guys wanted that one. We needed that one. We couldn't fall to 0-2. Lionfire says, when you have to rely on trick plays like fake punts and stuff, you're struggling. Not necessarily. I mean, if you can get away with it, why not? It's not a matter of struggling, and that's why you pull out a fake punt. If you don't know this, the Titans tried an onside kick the very first play of the season versus the Raiders. An onside kick. They weren't struggling. They just tried to catch them off guard. I didn't agree with that. Gave the Raiders. I was wondering how the hell the Raiders score within the first 40 seconds of the game. Well, that's how. You gave them the football essentially in your territory with an onside kick. They recovered and they moved it right down the field and got in the end zone. Okay, I understand now. But it's not necessarily struggling. It's just, hey, I think they're susceptible. They're vulnerable to this fake. Let's see if we can't pull it off. And they did. Hats off to them. America's Last says, can you please say Kansas City Chiefs in your funny accent, please? Kansas City Chiefs. And we got to see those guys in week 4, so you'll hear it plenty come next week. Trust me. HTTR 804 says, I'm still scratching my head on the use of Josh Doxson, as we all are. I don't understand why this young man can't get some touches, why we can't get him more involved in this offense. It's not hard to get a guy a touch or two. And when teams tell me nonsense after the game as to why they didn't do it, I don't want to hear it. Because it's so easy to get a guy a bubble screen, a hitch. Just like we get Jamison Crowder that screen on 3rd and 21, you can do the same thing for Josh Doxson. It's so easy to get guys involved. You can run a pick play for him where he's running a slant. The 2 inside receivers are running out breaking routes. He's running a slant underneath, and you throw it to him. It's just a natural pick. Same difference. Easy completion. You see what the guy can do. We just simply don't want to get him the rock right now, and I don't know why. America's Last says, why don't we take 2 to 4 deep shots to Pryor game? We've only done it once this whole year. They taken a couple of shots to Pryor in that Eagles game. I just think the run game was working so effectively. There was no need to even try to take a deep shot to Pryor in this particular game. But I agree. I don't know if it needs to be 4 of them, but I think 2 shots to Pryor, if you get the looks that you're looking for, why not? They don't even necessarily have to be to Pryor. 2 deep shots a game, whether it's Doxson or JC Ice or Pryor, I don't really give a damn who it is. I just want to take some shots down the field, get some chunk plays if we can. So I agree with you. We do need to take some more shots down the field. But with the way the run game was working and our inability to pass protect on play action fake thus far to start this season off, I don't blame us for not using play action fake to try to drive the football down the field. We got to be better in our protection schemes before we can trust our offensive line to hold up and allow us to have the time to drive it down the field. So we'll see what happens. Lion Fire says, Josh Doctson would have had a chance at that jump ball fade had Kirk threw it better. He threw it way too early. I agree. And not only did he throw it too early, he threw it too far. If he would have thrown that football 5 yards into the end zone, 8 yards in the air, Doctson would have had a chance to go up and get it. Kirk is horrible at throwing fades. Back shoulder fades, high point ball fades. His best fade is the fade to the back corner of the end zone by the pylon where you catch it and you get your 2 feet down. That's not what Doctson is about. Doctson is about going up and high pointing the football, and Kirk just simply doesn't give him a chance to do that. Mo L says, do you think Pryor and Crowder will eat the Raiders secondary? They've got a shot, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Lion Fire says, why is Jay Gruden so allergic to throwing slants when we have 2 players in Crowder and Reed who can run them so well? Hell, Pryor is a big guy. They've been trying to throw Pryor slants. One of his slants got batted down at the line of scrimmage. He was open for that one. Against the Eagles, we threw 2 slants to Pryor in that game. He caught one. Another one of them was batted down. So we've thrown slants, but I think we should throw the slant to Reed in the red zone. That's where he's his most dangerous. Double, triple stick, break a dude off, cut inside, and hit Reed. In 2015, when we were effective in the red zone and we scored a ton of points, that was our money route to Jordan Reed, was the slant. If you remember the Tampa, you liked that game. The game winner was a slant to Jordan Reed on that same concept, a slant on the backside of trips. And Jordan Reed won, and we got him in football. I don't understand why we don't do that more. Redskins Review says, HTTR, this defense is getting after people. It's fun to watch this defense grow right before our very eyes. We got to stay consistent, but, man, is it fun to watch these guys continue to do what we've been doing. And we're going to talk about the defense here in a second. Caden Boyer says, Josh Doctson has potential. Gruden needs to use him, though. Slot, Jamison Crowder is one of the best slot receivers in the league. Not in the slot, bro. He's got to win outside. We drafted him to be, at worst, a number 2 receiver. At best, a number 1. He's got to win on the outside. James McMillan III says, I like the way the defense is playing. I was also impressed with 35 at safety. We're going to talk about him as well. Des got game 421 says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Khalil Mack against our offensive line this Sunday night? We'll talk about that and more. And James McMillan III says, Preston Smith, impressive also. Perfect segue to the defensive 7-on-7 segment. Let's talk about the defense now and what they were able to accomplish in week 2. And I start with number 7. Rush defense, a little sketchy in this game. Okay, after week 1 and shutting down the Philadelphia Eagles and their rushing attack, I felt confident that we were going to shut down the Rams' rushing attack because they've struggled to run the football since Todd Gurley's rookie season. He struggled. Last year, offensive line was horrific. No quarterback play. Teams loaded up the box. He struggled. This season, better offensive line. Goff should be improved. Week 1, they still didn't run the football all that effectively. And even when they did, there were penalties that called it back. So I just felt confident that we would be able to stop their rushing attack. And lo and behold, Todd Gurley had a lot of success against us in this game. 16 carries, 88 yards on the ground, a rushing touchdown. He killed us catching the football, run after the catch. The run defense in this game, though, leaves a lot to be desired. I want to see us get back to the defense that we played against the run in week 1 versus the Eagles and less of what I saw in week number 2 versus the Rams. I thought they had way too much success. And if we give up those types of rushing lanes to Marshawn Lynch, he's going to go over 100 yards. He's not going to stop at 88. He's going to go for 128 and 2 touchdowns, not 1. So we got to be much better, and we got to gang tackle. It takes 2 and 3 to tango with beast mode. We can't come with just one guy in a shoestring tackle and think we're going to get him down. Gurley was close to busting off a couple of runs, and we were able to get him down with some shoestring tackles. That won't happen in this game. We got to come with 2 and 3 dudes to the party, and everybody's got to come swinging a sledgehammer to get this guy on the ground. We got to be better. The run defense was a little sketchy in this ball game. You go to number 6. P. Boogie and Showstopper looking good early in this season. Early. Okay? That's number 6. Preston Smith was outstanding, and my man James McMillan III made mention of it. I feel the exact same way. He had a great play on Tavon Austin on a jet sweep where he just bust that thing up, tackled him in the backfield for about a 1-yard loss. He beat the left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, who hasn't given up a sack in over a year. Beat him to the inside, got to Jared Goff, got a sack. P. Boogie, I thought he was outstanding versus the Eagles. Remember, he had a sack in that game as well. I think he's playing outstanding football. The light bulb is coming on for P. Boogie right now. I think he's playing his best football of his career right now. The showstopper on the other side of the football field, to me, is healthy. That's always his biggest problem. When he's not healthy, he's not the same guy. Right now, he's playing at a high level. Had a half a sack last week versus the Eagles. Had a sack in this game, a strip sack, forced fumble that the Redskins almost recovered. That's big-time football right there, and I love Kerrigan. Remember, last week he had the pick 6. He's playing top-notch football on the opposite side of Preston Smith, and I think right now those two guys are really getting after teams in the run game, which has really been impressive for Kerrigan because I didn't think he was that strong in the run game last year. He's coming back and he's playing much better versus the run, and he's getting after quarterbacks now and making his presence felt, and he's turning that corner a lot more aggressively this year and not allowing tackles to push him around the pocket as easily. And so I just love what we're getting out of both P. Boogie and Showstopper on the edges. It's really making for a promising defensive unit this year, and still feel like we can get more pressure on the quarterback when we don't blitz, when we don't bring 5- and 6-man pressures. But these guys have been impressive to start the season off. And so I want to see them continue to play the way that they've played in the first 2 weeks of the season. Chunk plays is number 5 on my 7 biggest takeaways from the defensive unit in week 2 versus the Rams. Redskins gave up 7 plays of 15 yards or more in this football game. 2 to Todd Gurley, another 2 to Gerald Everett, the tight end. He paid for one of them with the rookie Monte Nicholson, lighting him up now. Nicholson also hurt himself on that play and had to leave the game, but not before making Gerald Everett feel his presence and knocking Everett out of the game with a shot on a seam ball up the middle of the field. Nonetheless, Everett got us twice, including a 69-yarder when we had them on the ropes 13-0. Can't happen, but it did. Cooper Kupp got us for 1. All right. Sammy Watkins got us for 1. And then, of course, the fake punt. Great job by Johnny Hecker of delivering the football. And it's a rookie over there. He didn't know any better. I need him to be better in that situation. Thad Moreau just simply was unaware of what was going on, gave up too much space there, and allowed not only the catch, but the run after the catch, which was more damaging than the catch itself. So can't have 15 plays or more, 15-yard plays, 7 or more of them given up in a game. Generally, that's a recipe for disaster. Luckily enough, we were able to clamp down in the red zone. We were 2 of 4 in the game in the red zone. So were the Rams. And that may have been our saving grace in this game. Also, Robert Woods with a couple of boneheaded penalties. One on a personal foul and hitting DJ Swearinger in the face with an open hand punch. The other with a offensive pass interference that was unnecessary. So he saved us on that one particular drive, or else I think they would have took the lead 24-20 late in the ball game. So got to limit the chunk plays. That's something that worries me. We gave up some chunk plays versus the Eagles in week 1. We did it again here. If we can eliminate some of these chunk plays, I feel like we're going in the right direction defensively. Injuries is number 4 on the list. And I'm adding in all of the injuries, not just defensive injuries. We got quite a few on the defensive side of football. We got injuries in general. We came out of this game a wounded football team, which worries me for the Sunday night contest versus the Raiders. Right now, all of these players are listed as day-to-day, but that means absolutely nothing to me. We're going to allow these bumps and bruises to settle in. The adrenaline wears off, And on Wednesday, when these guys hit the practice field, we'll start to really get a sense for who's going to be able to go and who won't be able to go on Sunday night versus the Raiders. Rob Kelly, rib cartilage injury. We'll see what happens there. I'm not counting on him playing in this game, but I think we're fine at that position if he can't go. You pull Mac Brown up and you keep him moving. I think we'll be just fine at running back if he's not able to go. Jordan Reed, chest and sternum contusion. He's huge to our success. I was proud of him for coming back in the game, even on a limited basis. He had to suck it up. He gutted it out. Kudos and big ups to my man, Jay Reed, for being a soldier. Early on in his career, a lot of people criticized him for being soft and not being able to be tough and play and battle through injury. This man has been battling his ass off through injuries the last 2 seasons. Big ups to Jay Reed for coming out and gutting it out, even if only in a decoy role. I love it. Want more of it. Big ups to my man Jay Reed for coming back. Hopefully he'll be able to go in week 3 versus the Raiders. J-No and Monte Nicholson both sustained AC joint sprains. That's that shoulder injury when it pops out of the socket. It's really painful. Hopefully these guys are able to go. Both were able to come back into the game. We'll see if they're able to play. I suspect that they will be able to play, but again, I can't say for certain. Those things are painful. We'll see what happens. Mason Foster with a shoulder dislocation and a labrum injury. That man gutted it out, had the biggest play of the game defensively, arguably the biggest play of the game defensively with the pick at the end of Jared Goff to basically seal it for the Redskins. He was outstanding in the game as well. And so glad that he was able to come back. Hopefully he's able to continue to go. I fully expect Mason Foster, listening to him talk after the game, fully expect him to go in week 3 versus the Raiders. He'll put a little bit of a brace on and a little harness, and I think he'll just go. So he's a tough guy. I expect him to be out there. DeShazer Everett sprained MCL. Don't know his status. That's why I really hope Monte Nicholson is able to go. I like that rookie, okay? Monte Nicholson had a great blitz early in the game, put pressure on Goff, forced an overthrow of a pass to Tavon Austin, who was wide open on that play. Also had the big hit on Gerald Everett. I was wrong about Monte Nicholson. If you remember, I was the one that said that this guy was allergic to contact, that he was soft, that he didn't look like he was a guy that was going to be able to be physical at the safety position. Wrong. I was wrong about Monte Nicholson. He's been nothing but physical since joining this football team, and he's athletically gifted. We knew that coming out of Michigan State, and he seems to be where the ball is on a consistent basis. I want to see more of this young fella, and hopefully he's able to go, especially if DeShazer Everett is not with the sprained MCL. And finally, Momo. He had an ankle sprain and a shoulder strain in this game. Hopefully he's able to go. Momo seems to get injured at least once every game, but he always manages to come back into the game. And there's nothing that you can say about Momo other than he's a tough son of a bitch. And he always comes back. Same with Sheriff, same with Trent Williams. We got a tough offensive line. You say what you want about them, but these dudes gut it out. They get injured, they tape it up, they do whatever they have to do, and they get back in the game. Momo does it every game. And I appreciate him coming back into the game as well. So, ton of injuries leaving this game. Hopefully, the injuries are minor in nature, and these guys are able to go in week 3 versus the Raiders. You go to number 3 on the 7 biggest takeaways defensively from the Rams game. Third down defense. Remember, this was an issue last week. We gave up a ton of third downs, 9 to be exact. To the Eagles last week. I think they were like 9 of 13, 7 of which were 3rd and 7 or longer, which is asinine. This week, much better. 5 of 12, still too good of a percentage. That's 41%, guys. That's still well above the league average. That needs to come down considerably, but only 1 of those 5 conversions was on 3rd and 7 or longer. And so we're making strides. There were a couple of 3-and-outs in this game. The defense is getting better. 5 of 12, not what we're striving for, but it's in the right direction. We're trending upwards, guys, defensively. I love what I'm seeing from this defense. And 5 of 12 isn't great, but it is a vast improvement from week 1. I like this defense. I like where we're heading. And against a young quarterback like Goff, you need to be able to improve that third down percentage, and we did in this game. So we're trending in the right direction on third downs. You go to number 2, and this was the same exact number 2 from last week. And if this is at number 2 every week, we're going to be in great position each and every single week with a chance to win ball games. Creating turnovers and creating turnover opportunities. Okay, same as last week. Redskins defense creates 2 turnovers. The difference was we turned it over 4 times last week. Can't win like that in this league. The difference this week, no turnovers for this Redskins football team. Created 2 turnovers that led to Redskins points. That's how you win in this league. Redskins creating turnovers at an alarming rate right now. 4 in the first 2 games. I love it. Want more of it. And the thing I love is that we're in position for more turnovers. Josh Norman almost had a turnover on a Jared Goff throw, the one that he injured his AC joint on when he dove and extended for the football, almost picked that one off. Kendall Fuller would have had a pick at the goal line. Gotta give Cooper Kupp some respect. Respect, bro. Respect. I love Cooper Kupp. He slipped on the play. Goff expected him to break inward on the play. He slips as he's coming back inside. Fuller is right there with his hands ready to pick it off, and Cooper Kupp leaps off the ground, extends, and plucks the football out of the air. God damn it, that would have been a great interception. Great play, but we were in position for another turnover. Kerrigan with a strip of Jared Goff after beating the right tackle and getting the Goff and getting the football out. We were this close. The bounce just didn't go our way. We were this close to recovering that fumble. Another turnover opportunity created. Josh Norman with the peanut punch. He is so good. He's the best in this league. That one year he spent in Carolina with Charles Tillman, and he perfected the peanut punch in that one season. We saw it last year. Huge forced fumble versus Green Bay with Jared Cook, who we'll be seeing with the Raiders this year in that ball game to help us secure that victory. He did it a number of times against Cleveland in that game when we were on the ropes. He did it again. He did it again twice in this game. Redskins recovered one of them. Terrell McClain coming away with the first one. Redskins weren't able to recover the second one. Todd Gurley got a very fortunate bounce on that one. But nonetheless, another turnover opportunity created. I love it. We're aggressive. We're looking to get the football out. We're looking to create turnovers in short fields for our offense. This is an aggressive approach from our defense that we haven't seen since Greg Williams. And this is so refreshing. This is so fun to watch. This defense is getting better. They're creating turnovers. We got a shot this year, guys. If the offense can figure it out, we got a shot because the defense is much improved. And finally, number 1 on the 7 biggest takeaways from the Redskins win over the Los Angeles Rams. Defense preserving the win, Mason Foster's pick. Last year we did this once. Sua Cravens in week 3 when we had to have it. Similar situation. Had to have it. A little different in terms of the score and the dynamic of the game. We were up 29-27 versus the Giants in week 3 on the road last year when Sua Cravens came up with a huge interception to preserve that victory. We're up 7 here, so a touchdown doesn't beat you, but still, you don't want to have that happen. First play of the possession, Mason Foster steps in front of the offering, picks it off, and basically ended any hopes of the Rams coming back and tying this game and sending it to overtime. Last year, we had a bunch of close calls that we were able to preserve, so this is not new, but this was dominant this time around. Last year, when we stopped the Vikings from coming back and stealing the game from us, they were a Sam Bradford overthrow of Stephon Diggs from beating us on that final drive. Okay? And then we got the sack by Trent Murphy and we sealed it up. But we should have lost. If Sam Bradford puts the ball on the money to Stephon Diggs, who got behind the defense inexplicably, We lose. Philadelphia Eagles drive it down the field in Philadelphia. They got us on the ropes. And luckily enough for us, Ryan Kerrigan is going up against a right tackle that has no business going up against Ryan Kerrigan. He beats him, sacks Carson Wentz, and preserves the victory against the Eagles on the road in that ball game. But we had to sweat it out. They were deep in Redskins territory when we got that sack. Okay? We had opportunities to win ball games against Cincinnati. Defense couldn't get it done in that game. Against Detroit, we all know about that game. That might have been the most hurtful loss of the season. We've had opportunities to win games, but we couldn't do it on the defensive side of the football. We did it here, and we didn't even have to sweat. Mason Foster and his defense said, we're going to put you boys at ease. All you fans at home right now, heart beating 110 miles an hour, ready to jump out your chest, throat, your heart's in your throat, or it's in the bottom of your feet. We got you. Not even going to make you sweat this time. Pick, game, set, match. You can rest easy. That's beautiful. That is beautiful, and we need more of those. And look, if you're a Redskins fan, don't fool yourself. We're not going to win many games by blowing teams out. Most of our games are going to look like week 1 and week 2. Redskins with the football with a chance to win, like we had it in the Eagles game. Redskins up or tied with a chance to preserve or go to overtime or get the football back to the offense with a chance to win late in the ball game, need a stop. That's how most Redskins games are going to go. And for the defense to make a stop there and us not even have to sweat, bravo. Love it. Love it. Want more of it. I need that. Special delivery. Can I have that? Special delivery. So those are your top 7 takeaways defensively. That is your 7 on 7. Let's get to some more of your comments before we put the bow on this and then go to the Raiders matchup in week number 3 on Sunday Night Football. So, Jonas McConan says, watch P-Ron go for $150 and 2 touchdowns versus the Raiders. That'd be nice. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would not count on that, but that'd be great. Mondraw says, to answer this question, I'll quote the Fugees Killing Me Softly. How many times has Doxson caught the ball, strumming my pain with his fingers? One time. Yeah. That's a good one. I like that. I love that, actually. That's a great one. One time. That's it. That's all he's got to his name in this league, man. James McMillan III says, I'm so glad we made a decision on Cravens. I had already mentally moved myself away and removed myself from that situation. So this was just a formality. Redskins put him on the reserved list. Non-football injury list or whatever it's called. He's done for the season. I'm fine with that. I was fine with that decision. I had already, like I said, removed myself from the crazy. I don't think he wants to play football. And if he doesn't want to play, cool. I don't have any problem with that, man. Do what you do. Redskins Review says, Kirk is really showing he doesn't trust all of our receivers. He trusts Grant, Crowder, and Reed only right now. I would agree with that. He's trying to gain trust in Pryor, but he's dropping the football. He's not running his routes at the proper depth. It's hard to trust guys when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're not catching the football. They're not making plays for you. So I would agree with that. I said that in the R3 that right now he doesn't trust anyone right now but Thompson, Crowder, and Reed. I think he still is working on his rapport with Grant. Grant keeps running routes short of the sticks and coming up short. So I don't think the trust is fully there either. But I think he's gaining confidence in every receiver. Pryor, Grant included. I think the one guy that he has zero rapport with right now is Doxson, and that has to be fixed. It has to be fixed because we're going to need him moving forward. And Amick89 says Kirk not playing well at all. I wouldn't say that. I thought he was solid in this game. He wasn't terrible. I thought Kirk was terrible against the Eagles. I didn't think he was terrible in this game. I thought he did a good job of managing the game. He missed some opportunities, sure. There's no denying that. But when the game was on the line, on that final drive of the game, he went 3 of 3 for 44 yards, including a beautiful decision to turn down the speed cut, which would have been a first down, to Crowder on 3rd and 4, and throws a dime in the end zone to Grant for a touchdown. So I can't agree with you. I don't think Kirk's playing terrible. I think he's playing well enough right now. Jolt Warrior says, do you see the offense moving towards an inside-outside kind of offense that utilizes running back, slot receivers, and tight ends? I think this offense is trending towards being a little bit more dynamic on the edges. I think they realize that we have athletic enough tackles and guards that we can get to the outside. It's tough to run on the outside and the edge in this league, but you're seeing more tosses. You're seeing more sweeps. You're seeing more bubble screens to the outside. You're seeing more plays on the outside than you're seeing on the inside. And so I think they're starting to realize that we have an advantage. Trent Williams is the most athletic tackle in the league. And I think they're starting to realize that this guy can get to the second level. Sheriff can get to the second level. Guys are very athletic and mobile, and we can use that to our ability. You're seeing guys pull, and you're seeing us get to the outside. You're seeing them trying to win on the edges a lot more, and I think that's something that we need to continue to do. But make no mistake about it, we can win over the middle of the field as well with Reed, with Crowder, and so we need to continue to do that as well. So, yeah, there's a little bit of an inside-outside feel to the offense right now, but like I said, whatever works. I don't really give a damn if it's all outside, if it's all inside. I don't care. I just want things that work. I want consistency, and I want things that work. Dre the Great says, where do you see the Redskins generating pressure? Right now, all of our pressure is coming either off of blitzes on the interior, so your A-gap blitzes, or we're winning off the edge with pressure. But when we don't blitz, generally we're not winning. So right now, in order to win, we have to blitz to get to the quarterback. But guys are starting to rush at a higher level, and I think we got an opportunity to take advantage of a mismatch or two in this upcoming game versus the Raiders. Dre the Great says, how much will field position and special teams factor into this game? I'll get to that when we talk about the Raiders. That's a great question. Lion Fire says, Laval pushed 2 Rams into each other on that long CT run. He sure did. He was outstanding on that particular play. It's always good to see Laval do something good because we beat him up when he doesn't do things well. And that was an outstanding block by him. Caden Boyer says, winners and losers segment tomorrow night. Yep. I will be here with all of my picks and a breakdown of all of your picks as well. Dre the Great says, after Morgan Moses' great performance against the Rams, how important is it for him to contain Mac? I think he's going to have help for a vast majority of the night. I think they're going to chip Mac. I think they're going to put a tight end on his side and chip on the way out. You're going to see some double teams. They're going to have to move Mac around. The only way he's going to be singled up for the majority of the night is if he is opposite of Trent Williams. Other than that, if he's one-on-one with any other offensive lineman, I think you're going to see help. Wherever you see 52, you're going to see 2 Redskins. At least a chip before they go out for a route. Squints1 says, yo, please, please, please beat the Raiders. We're going to try, but it is not going to be easy. I can assure you of that. Dre the Great also says, who is going to take the majority of the carries, P. Ryan or Thompson? If Rob Kelly is not able to go, P. Ryan will see the majority of the touches out of the backfield, for sure. Dre the Great also says, how important will Zach Brown be this week? He's huge every week. He is our leading tackler on the football team right now. He had 13 tackles in week 1, 10 last week. He's the guy that gets to the football the fastest of any of our linebackers. When things break down, he's the guy that's got to go chase somebody down from behind. By far and away, he's our most athletically gifted linebacker, and he makes a huge difference on this defense. So, yes, he's going to play an integral part in this Redskins defense, having a chance to stop the rushing attack of the Raiders and slowing them down on the offensive side of the football. Let's see. Skipped a bunch of comments. I'm going back. All right. Let's see where we are. Man, there's a lot of comments. And I skipped a bunch of them. All right. And it won't let me go back anymore. So if I missed your comment, I apologize. There's so many comments that they're removing the oldest comments. So I'll try to get to as many of these before we move on to the Bow and Go segment. HTTR 804 says, Chris Thompson showed off this game. I think the screen game will be vital in our offense and versus the Raiders or anyone else. What's your take on it? I think the screen game needs to continue to be big. I'd like to see Chris Thompson get in on the screen game. He wasn't a part of the screen game this past week, but Crowder was. I just like Chris Thompson out of the backfield in general. I think he can win against any linebacker in this league, and that's a one-on-one matchup that I think we need to exploit week in and week out. And so just Chris Thompson being on the field is a mismatch for most teams, and I want to see us continue to get him the football. Kirk has a ton of confidence in Chris Thompson. He's looking for him consistently, and if he continues to get open, Kirk's going to continue to get him the football. Jesse Lynn says, I don't trust the run game for the future. I feel like they need to improve the position in the offseason. I felt like there were opportunities for bigger runs, and our running backs just didn't take advantage. So from that standpoint, I'd agree with you there, but I don't see us upgrading the position in the offseason. I think we're going to run with these three backs, and I don't think they're bad. I just don't think they taking Thompson out of the equation. Kelly and P. Ryan, I don't think, have the combination of make you miss and home run threat speed that you're looking for. Kelly could have easily had 2 runs for 60 yards and touchdowns in this game. He had to beat the corner or the safety on that one run, and he just did a couple of stutters and then made a half-ass move and let him tackle him. I would have preferred him to switch ball hands. Okay, the ball is supposed to be on the outside hand anyway. All right, switch ball hands. You can give him that same little shimmy and double, triple stick that you gave him, and then stiff arm his ass and see if you can't break the tackle towards the outside instead of just doing all of this. The guy didn't go for any of it, and then just running into him and letting him tackle you. That's the lack of make you miss that Rob Kelly doesn't have. He didn't have any make you miss. And on the run play where he had a convoy and all you had to do was go to the outside, that's just lack of vision, lack of feel. But again, it is what it is. HTTR 804 says, do you think P. Rob will be able to handle the load of carries now that Fat Rob is injured? I don't know Fat Rob's situation and status for the game, but we saw P. Ryan have 21 carries, so we know he can handle the load. The question is, can he be more efficient and effective with that load? We will see. Also, HTTR 804 says, I think our offense is played from inside out in the run game to the outside receivers. We did a better job of that in this past game with the Rams, and the receivers are blocking really well, especially Terrell Pryor out on the edge. And that's how you get bigger runs with guys blocking on the outside. So we'll see what happens. Andre P. Musgrove says, can I get a Jay Reed for the one time? Jay Reed! That's our boy, man. And he was big. It was good to see him get his hands on the football early and often in this game, especially before the injury. 6 catches for Jay Reed in this game. Still not the yardage that we're accustomed to with these grabs, but I think that will come over time if he's able to stay healthy. HTTR 804 says, Pryor, I think, is better at comeback routes and curls. He ate Norman up with those routes last year. I think he's better with the crossing routes as well. I mean, we've seen him win on these crosses. He just got to catch the damn football. It's basically his problem right now. Just catch the damn ball. DC Big Oso says, You know what is funny? RG3 throws a beautiful fade pass. Go back to the Thanksgiving game 2012. Yeah, he did throw a beautiful. He threw a beautiful deep ball as well, but that was about it. Zimba Sexy One says, actually watching the game tape, Doxson was open many times and Kirk just didn't look at him and throw to him. And I figured that was the case. Bottom line is he doesn't trust him. In order for Kirk to look his way, and a lot of times coverage dictates where you go with the football. Pre-snap reads, you know that it's cover 3, you know what the routes are, and you say, okay, I know Crowder's running this this speed out. He should be able to win. If he sits down and realizes that it's zone coverage and he sits down, I should be able to hit him and pick up this first down. Or he says, okay, Jay Reed's running this this short slant, all right, this over route in this cover 3, and we're faking this run out of shotgun. If these linebackers suck up, I'm going to Jay Reed on the over route for 8 and a first down. So he's making pre-snap reads before the snap. The coverage that he's reading is dictating where he's going with the football, and he could make a conscious decision to go to Josh Doxson, and he's just not. So it is what it is. I think he's got to build up that rapport with Kirk, he being Doxson, if he wants the rock. Jay Orion says, best sports show on YouTube. I'm definitely going to donate. Keep up the good work, bro. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Really do. Thanks a lot. RG3 hashtag says, I'm not surprised Preston Smith also beat Tyron Smith. Preston Smith is playing outstanding football right now. Redskins Review says, DJ Swearinger leadership is really helping our defense. I don't know what this defense would be without him. You're right, man. I can't tell you how many times I'm watching him tell DeShazer Everett, get up, get up, get up. They're running a combination route. Get up. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him line guys up, get them in the right positions pre-snap. He had a meeting with the players before a practice last week. His leadership has been monumental. It's been paramount for this football team. And we've lacked that in the locker room for quite some time. And it's refreshing. Again, I've used the word refreshing at least 4 times tonight because a lot of what we're seeing from this team is refreshing. The run game was refreshing. That pick by Mason Foster, refreshing. The run game, refreshing. The defense being more aggressive. And I love what we're getting out of our new defensive coordinator, Greg Minuski. I think he's doing a fabulous job of mixing up coverages. I love what we're getting out of our secondary. They're a lot more aggressive, a lot more man-to-man. And I think we're doing a great job of covering receivers. All of that is refreshing. And so is DJ Swearinger's leadership. That is definitely refreshing. Amic89 says, I like the way Anderson blows up blocks so others can get tackles. It really helps. He also blew up a block and didn't keep outside contain on a Todd Gurley run that went for like 18. There's one thing to be said about blowing up a block a la Perry Riley, and there's something else to be said about, hey, go get the guy with the football. I love that he blows up blockers, but I'd also like him to go get the guy with the football. That's what I want more than anything else. America's Last says, why does DJ Swearinger talk? Big game in practice, do nothing in the games, and I love Monte Nicholson. I actually thought DJ Swearinger has been outstanding. You may not see him show up in the form of big plays, but he's a blur on the screen. He's coming and he's taking guys out in run plays and underneath completions. He's lining guys up. His impact has been profound thus far. I love DJ Swearinger. And I love Monte Nicholson and his play thus far as well, too. Michael Briggs says, when are you, Redskins Review, and BFG going to do another video? I think after the bye week or halfway point at the end of the year would be cool. Hail to the Redskins. We'll see. We'll see. We had that Redskins roundtable discussion before. We may do it again. We shall see. But in any event, let's get to the bow and go portion of the show. Redskins bow and go. So let's quickly put a bow on this Rams victory. It was much needed. We had to have it 0-2, and staring the Raiders on primetime and the Chiefs on primetime in back-to-back weeks would have been impossible. 1-3 is still a realistic possibility for this football team after these 2 games, but you'll take 1-3 knowing that you get the 49ers after the bye at home, you should be able to win that one. And I don't like counting victories. You know, I don't like doing that. But 1-3 isn't the worst start to this season. 0-4 would have been the worst case scenario, obviously. And it would have been a death sentence for this season. So from that standpoint, I think we could go to 1-3 if we don't win these next 2 games and come out of the bye, and we can beat the Eagles on the road. We can beat the 49ers at home and get back to 500 at 3-3. That's the importance of this game. You lose this game against the Rams, fall to 0-2. You lose to the Raiders on Sunday night. You lose to the Chiefs the following week on Monday Night Football. You're 0-4. And even if you come off the bye and win 2 straight, you're still 2-4. Vast difference from 3-3 and 2-4. And so you look around the NFC East right now, and everybody's 1-1 aside from the Giants, who's 0-2. This could be one of those seasons where 9-7. I think 10-6 is going to win this division. I said that before the season started. I stand firmly behind my statement that 10-6 is going to win this. But 9-7, it may be one of those years like 2 years ago in 2015 where we were able to sneak the division at 9-7. It may be one of those years where you might be able to sneak this division at 9-7. Now, it's early. Cowboys they're not going to play the Broncos every week. The Eagles, I think, are a much improved team. I still think 10 wins is going to get it done in this division, but still, you never know. And that's why the importance of this Week 2 matchup was so vital, and we got it done. And great performance by the Redskins rush offense. Kirk Cousins was stellar when we needed him to be. Didn't have the best game, but he was clutch when we needed him to be. He stepped up and he was Captain Kirk on that final drive of the game. And the defense, they were much improved. They gave some things up, a lot of chunk plays, but when we had to have it, they got the stop. And Mason Foster with that interception sealed the deal, 27-20. We're 1-1. Let's move on to the go portion of the Bow and Go and the Oakland Raiders on Sunday Night Football. This is going to be a fascinating game. I'm excited for this game for a number of reasons. I'm anxious, one, to see the turnout. Because we won this game in Week 2, I think the turnout will be better than it would have been had we been 0-2. That being said, I fully expect Raiders fans, Raider Nation, to come in and really infiltrate our stadium. And, you know, this is one of the reasons we hate primetime games, because we allow the other team's fan base to infiltrate our stadium and take over. It would not shock me that if there isn't 30 to 40% of black jerseys and Raiders fans in the stands come Sunday night. Hopefully the Redskin faithful can block those guys out and keep it to a minimum. There's going to be at least 20% Raiders fans, for sure. Let's not let it get to 30 or 40 or 50%. That's what I'm hoping, number one. Number two, we think our defense is better, right? This is the first true test. And I don't want to downplay the Eagles. I think they're a good offensive football team. And they did some really good things against us. But this is our real first true test against an offense that is pure lethal, okay? This team is absolutely lethal on the offensive side of the football. Krabs just had 3 touchdowns in the blowout victory over the Jets. Amari Cooper is a guy that you know, when the ball's in the sky and the QB needs a guy, it's somebody. We know what Amari Cooper's about. And so Derek's always, the 4 car is always looking for Amari. All right. Krabs is Krabs. Probably the best number 2 receiver in all of the National Football League. They've got tight ends now in Jared Cook Jr., and he ate us up on Sunday night with the Packers last year. So we're hoping that that doesn't continue this year, and they still got Clive Walford on their roster. The running back position is much improved with beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. And other guys are getting involved, okay? Jalen Richard had a huge 45, 50, 60-yard touchdown run to the crib. They love getting him the football out in space. They love Washington as another change of pace back in that backfield. They can go 3 deep at the running back position and hurt you. They got weapons for days. Seth Roberts in the slot. And their newest weapon is a guy that came over from Minnesota in Cordero Patterson. He had a beautiful run, similar to Chris Thompson's shotgun run for a touchdown. He had a shotgun 41, 45-yard touchdown run versus the Jets, and where he made a guy miss, kept his balance, and was off to the races. He's a threat to return it on kickoffs. He's a threat every time he touches it. And now the Raiders are implementing him into the offense on sweeps, reverses, and getting him the football out of the backfield as a running back now. So he's dangerous in his own right as well. So we're going to find out just how good this defense really is, because the Raiders can hurt you in a number of ways. Offensively, I think we can exploit the Raiders. I'm not sold that the Raiders are great on offense. I think you can throw it on the Raiders. I think you can run it on the Raiders. I think you can have more success throwing it than you can running it this season. But the Titans had a little bit of success running it. The Jets had a little bit of success running it. So I think you can run on this Raiders team, but I think you can throw on this Raiders team. They've been aggressive. They've blitzed. They love blitzing their safety, Carl Joseph, who I love. He had a forced fumble in the game versus the Jets. They've been aggressive coming after quarterbacks. Khalil Mack, we know what he's about. He was outstanding in the Week 2 win over the Jets, had a sack in that game and a bunch of other pressures. He's a guy you got to look out for. I'm not so much worried about Bruce Irvin as I am Khalil Mack for obvious reasons, but Mack is a guy that we're going to have to pay close attention to. If we want to slow down the blitz, I think the screen game is imperative. It's vital. They're going to come early with some pressure to try to rattle Kirk, much like the Eagles did. And if I'm the Raiders, that's exactly what the game plan is. Rattle Kirk Cousins early, get under his skin, get him thinking that he can't trust his offensive line to protect, make him speed up his thought process, and that may impact him for the remainder of the game if you do it early like the Eagles did. And so I think the Redskins have to be prepared to come out and get rid of the football early in this game, some quick hitters, some screens, to really deter the Raiders from being over-aggressive and coming after Kirk in this ball game. And got to hurt them. When they do come after, you got to have the right play calls dialed up so that they'll be on alert. Like, oh, okay, maybe we need to scale back some of the pressure because they're hitting us with these quick hitters and we don't have the guys to be able to cover. So I think that's going to be imperative. It'd be great if we can get off to a great start like we did against the Rams, running the football in this football game. But I'm not counting on that, okay? It'd be nice, but I'm not banking on the Redskins having great success rushing the football in this game. But we'll see what happens. Don't know the severity of all these injuries. We're hoping that a vast majority of those guys are able to go. I don't think Rob Kelly's going to play in this game, but I'm comfortable with Matt Brown, P. Ryan, and Thompson going into the game at the running back position. So I feel confident that we'll be fine at that position. We need Jay Reed. We need Crowder to be healthy for this upcoming game. We need Doxson to step up. He needs to stay healthy this week in practice so that we can have Kirk get some snaps with him in practice and feel comfortable delivering the football to him. Grant continues to show why we keep him on the roster each and every single year. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a contract year for Ryan Grant. So we'll see what happens with him as the season progresses. Terrell Pryor, he has the opportunity this week to make an impact because I think the Raiders in their secondary are still trying to figure things out. I saw Jermaine Kearse go off on the Raiders. All right. David Amerson, our old buddy DA, coming back to FedEx. We need to light his ass up. Okay? Light him up like a Christmas tree. Opposite of him is a young rookie that I really like in Garyon Conley. He made a couple of nice plays last week. Be careful around him. But everyone else in that secondary, I think you can attack and have success versus. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what this Redskins offense does against this Raiders defense. It's going to be a fun matchup all the way around. Our offense against their defense, their offense against our defense. This is going to be a great test for us in this football game. I'm looking forward to it. Special teams, I had a question about special teams and how much of an impact will that have in this game. Huge, because Cordero Patterson has the ability to be a game breaker. We have to find a way to contain him. They've got a field goal kicker that seems to not be able to miss. Our kicker missed last week, so we need him to step his game up and hit these field goals. It's going to be a fun game, for sure. I can't wait to see this game unfold. Let's get to some of your comments before we get to the final outcome of this game. Severe 8403 says, Amari Cooper is finna eat against this team, and this will be Lynch's best game of the young season. He's getting better as the season progresses, is Marshawn Lynch. This could easily be his best game. If we have the same type of performance against the run that we had last week, he's going to go over 100 yards in this game. And Amari Cooper, I'm not sure if he's going to eat or not. Amari Cooper, I liken him to Terrell Pryor in the sense that Amari Cooper will drop the football. He'll drop the football. He had a drop last week. He had a drop in week 1. That's what he does. He does drop the football, but for every drop, there's 2 or 3 big plays by Amari Cooper, and so we definitely have to keep tabs on him. DC Big Oso says the Redskins defense is getting better with each week of playing, and I agree. And I'm hoping that this next week they take a huge step. I'm hoping that, and here's a big matchup that I want to mention right now. Marshall Newhouse is the Raiders' starting right tackle. He stinks, okay? He's been getting it done early in this season because they haven't played against any teams with real pass rushers. I'm not saying that we got real pass rushers, but if we can isolate him against Kerrigan and Junior Gillette, I'm really looking forward to Gillette getting the opportunity because Newhouse isn't the greatest athlete. I think he can find a way to stonewall Kerrigan, but it wouldn't shock me if Kerrigan had his way with Newhouse early in this game. But he doesn't have the athleticism to stay in front of Gillette. If we can find a way to get Gillette on the field in some obvious passing situations, one-on-one with Marshall Newhouse, I like our chances to get to Carr without necessarily having to blitz. But in any event, that's a matchup that I see us having an opportunity to exploit. So I hope we can get that done. Ouija HTTR says, how do you feel about Junior Gillette so far? He's been okay. I didn't think he was as good as he was in week 1. I thought he was so close, like 3 or 4 times versus the Eagles. I didn't see him getting as close in this ball game versus the Rams. But it's just good to know that he's healthy and he's getting his sea legs back and he's getting back into game shape. Every week that he plays and he doesn't sustain an injury is a week better he gets for the next week. And I think at some point he's going to become a force for us off the edge. Peter Parker says, those Michigan State guys put in work. Kirk, Bell, Nicholson, Conklin, Waynes, etc. Those guys have been outstanding in the league thus far. Waynes is still trying to find his way in Minnesota, but Conklin has been outstanding for the Titans at tackle. Nicholson has come in and been a revelation for us at the safety position. We know what Le'Veon Bell has been for the Steelers at the running back position when healthy. And, of course, Kirk Cousins has been our guy in D.C. for the last 3 seasons. DC Big Oso says, mark my words, the Redskins defense will be a top 15 defense at the end of the year. That's a lofty statement. I can't sign up for that, but I love your confidence in this defense. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Andre P. Musgrove says, how do you see the Redskins standing in the division if they go 1-1 the next 2 weeks? If we find a way to go 1-1, and I think the one that we would have to get if we're going to win one is this one against the Raiders, I really don't see us going on the road and beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead on a Monday night. That seems like a almost impossible task. That seems like a kamikaze mission. You know, I don't like that one at all. But if we get one, it'll have to be this Raiders one, I think. And if we can get to 2-2, to me, that is a tremendous start to the season. Looking at the way it shaped up and us not getting that week 1 game versus the Eagles. After not winning that game versus the Eagles, 1-3 was what I thought in my mind. If we can get to 1-3, I'll take it. Now that we've gotten the first one out of the way, I'm looking for 2-2. And it's going to have to be this Raiders game. That being said, if we can get to 2-2, I think we're either going to be in first place or we're going to be just outside of first if someone's able to win the next 2 games and get to 3-1. But either way, 2-2, you feel good about where we are after the first 4 games going into your bye week if we can get there. Adrian Hernandez says, Kirk usually starts getting into his groove after the first couple of games. I'm not worried about him. I'm confident that they'll figure it out offensively in the passing game and they'll get this thing on the right track. RG3 hashtag says, Sean Laval looking like an all-pro guard. I won't say all of that. No, sir. Re-buddy. Poopin' for Noopin says, just came in, but how do you grade the defense so far? The biggest noticeable improvement I've seen is sniffing out screens and making athletic plays for short gains. Absolutely. I think you hit it right on the head. Kendall Fuller has been outstanding in the screen game, blowing those up. The underneath plays that used to hurt us, not hurting us because we have more team speed. Guys are getting to the football. Swearinger, Brown, Norman. These guys are flowing to the football quickly, making tackles underneath. No longer are 3rd and 5, completions for 3 yards going for 6 because we're too slow to get to the football. If you throw it underneath, we've got guys there immediately ready to make a sound form tackle, other than guys ducking their head and getting leaped over like they did in the game versus the Rams by their running back, Todd Gurley. In any event, this is a game where I look at, let's see if we got any more comments that I need to get to before. Nope, that's it. So I'll get back to my analysis of this game quickly, and I want to do that in the final outcome and what I think is going to happen in this game versus the Raiders on Sunday night. It's the final outcome. Whoa, yeah. All right, so I think that there are some fascinating matchups in this game. I think that we can win a lot of these matchups. I think there are some that we're going to be outclassed in. I'm nervous about the run game. Not our run game, the Raiders' run game against our rush defense. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I am just off of what I saw with Todd Gurley. I thought we were good early in the game, and as the game wore on, Gurley got better, and he started to get chunks in the run game. If that happens against the Raiders, we're going to be in some trouble. That makes me a little nervous. We got to get pressure on Derek Carr. That also makes me nervous because Derek Carr doesn't respond well to pressure. He panics under pressure. That's why he wasn't a first-round pick. And he still struggles with pressure to this day. Now, if he reads pressure and is able to find a one-on-one matchup he likes, he will absolutely shred you. But if he doesn't read pressure right off the snap and you're able to hit home, he does not respond well to pressure. That's when you can get him to make a mistake. That's when he'll throw it up for grabs. That's when you have a chance to get him to make a mistake. He doesn't make mistakes very often. And with his receiving core and the skill guys that they have, like I said, this is the biggest test that we're going to have defensively. I don't know if we're ready to pass this test quite yet defensively. I'm not going to lie to you. As good as I feel about this defense, we still got a long ways to go. And this is one of the best offenses in all of the National Football League. So from that standpoint, I am nervous going into the game about the Raiders offense and their ability to move the football versus our defense. We gave up a ton of chunk plays versus the Rams. We were horrible on third down defense versus the Eagles. If we put those two things together in this game, the Raiders are going to have a field day against us, and that scares me. From an offensive standpoint versus Raiders football team, I like our chances. I think we can move the football. I think we can score against this Raiders football team. I don't know if we're going to be able to run it as effectively as we did last week. As a matter of fact, I'll go out on a limb and say we won't run it as effectively as we did last week. But they're light at the linebacker position. I think we can take advantage of their linebackers in the passing game. I think we can take advantage of their secondary in the passing game. I think we can win one-on-one matchups if Kirk has enough time to throw the football. That being said, is the offensive line going to look like they did after the first 2 sacks in the Rams game where they were lights out? Or are they going to look like the team early in the Rams game that gave up 2 sacks and in week 1 versus Philadelphia when the Philadelphia Eagles applied pressure often and pretty much all game long? If we can't stand up to the Raiders' pressure, if we can't block Khalil Mack, if we can't give Kirk the necessary time for him to survey the field, make the proper reads, and get the football out, it could be a long day for our offense. We got to be sound on special teams because Cordero Patterson is a difference maker. We can't have guys breaking off big, long runs. And Tavon Austin almost got us on a punt return. Will Compton with a shoestring tackle that if he doesn't make that tackle, Tavon Austin is out the back door, game over. Okay, so a lot of concerns. I like our chances in this game. And much like last week, I told you, I felt like we should beat the Rams, but I wasn't willing to make that pick. I'm sticking with my gut here. My heart says Redskins win this game, but your heart gets you in trouble. Your head is usually the smarter decision. And for the second week in a row, I don't have the Redskins getting it done. I think the Raiders can score points. And unlike the Redskins, they don't settle for field goals. They score touchdowns. We kick field goals. They score touchdowns. That's why they're able to score 45 in a game versus the Jets, and we're only able to score 27 in a game versus the Rams. Okay? We should have scored 30-something versus the Rams in that game. But we settled for field goals, and we didn't take advantage of opportunities. The Raiders take advantage of opportunities. If we make mistakes, we got to take care of the football. We cannot turn it over like we did the last time we were at home. We have to look like the team we looked like in week 2, or less like the team we looked like in week 1. Can't turn it over. We got to find a way to create at least 1 turnover in this game. We've had 2 in each of the first 2 contests. If we can create some short fields for this offense, create some turnovers, make some plays, take care of the football, I think we can beat the Raiders. But I'm not confident in our ability to stop their offense consistently, and I'm still not confident in our ability to score the football. We were 2-4, 2 of 4 in the red zone. Still had to settle for a couple of field goals. Got to find a way to punch the football into the end zone. If we can do that, we can have a Green Bay-esque type performance on Sunday Night Football like we did last year. Because this Raiders defense is similar to that Packers defense that we ate up last year. We can move the ball on the Raiders, but the Raiders can move the ball on us. We can stop the Raiders on defense. The Raiders can stop us on defense. It's going to be a great football game, one that I'm anxious to watch, but I don't have the confidence that I should in my football team at this point in the season to make the pick that I want to make. So that's what I'm predicting in week 3 versus the Raiders. Like I said last week, I hope I'm wrong. And it's sort of a reverse psychology pick, but I actually believe in this one. Last week, I didn't believe that pick. I just wasn't confident in the team. I actually believe that we might not get it done this week. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong like I was last week. And I am willing to take the loss if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. We'll get to a couple more of your comments, and then we'll get out of here. Pretty sure I'll get some predictions now. Let's see. Real Live TV, come back to me tomorrow on the Pick'em show, and I'll answer that question. So that's it. No more comments. You guys know where I stand. I appreciate you guys watching the stream. I know a lot of Raiders fans joined us tonight. I hope to see you guys back for the breakdown of that game on Sunday Night Football overtime. Win or lose, come back and join us as we'll break that game down in all of its splendor. Again, for those of you who came late, I have set up a little bit of a fund for those who want to donate. Go to PayPal. The link is in the discussion box down below in the comments. Also, it's going to be in the description box on all future videos, including this one. If you want to donate to the program, to the channel, trying to do big things. And I know a lot of you have been asking about being able to donate. Here's your opportunity to do so via PayPal. And I really appreciate any donations, how big, how small, it doesn't matter. I'll take it all. I thank you for all of your support. And even if you can't give, just continue to support the channel and all of my endeavors. I appreciate all of you guys out there, and I thank you for joining me. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. Redskin spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to the beloved Washington Redskins. As always, you know how I employ the fellas to get the job done. Nothing has changed. Sunday Night Football, big stage, bright lights. Fellas, go get 'em. Bring home the dub. We're 0-1 at the crib. You want to make the playoffs this year? You better start protecting the house. I'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one.